Look at you, hacker. A pathetic creature of meat and bone, panting and sweating as you run through my corridors. How can you challenge a perfect, immortal machine?
Hello and welcome back to Afterglow. This will be episode 117, where we're going to be checking out one of the scariest games I played as a kid, System Shock 2. It's a first-person shooter with some RPG elements, but this game can be very, very creepy at times, as myself and my guest for this episode, Grim, are going to discuss. But first, let's thank the show's patrons. Every episode, we give a shout out to those who donate $1 on the Patreon for the show. So, for this episode, we'd like to thank OCD and Every G. Or, did I mispronounce it? OCD and Every RPG. Let's try that. And then Tex and Toby with Big Red Flavor. These guys have been donating for close to half a year now, and I can't thank them enough for their support for the show. But now, we're going to begin to talk about why System Shock 2 scares the crap out of me, and Grim as well. Kind of funny, though, I've never played System Shock 1. I do own the remake on Steam, and I mean to play it at some point because I love System Shock 2 so much. But to this day, I've never really played System Shock 1, which is something I probably need to rectify in the next few years. But we're going to listen to some music from the game before we jump into mine and Grim's discussion of System Shock 2.
Welcome back. And I am here with Grim today to talk about this shooter from the 90s that has quite a few RPG elements in System Shock 2. When's the last time you played this, Grim?
It's probably been about 2 years or so, give or take. But I'd played it before then too. This is a great game.
Yep, I've recently been playing the remake. I got it, I want to say a month or two ago. And then before then, I had played it, I want to say mid-2010s. I did a quick run through of it. Other than that, I had beaten it twice as a kid, and that's been it. But this game has one of the villains that everyone knows, but no one's actually played, because I feel like everyone online knows who Shodan is, but they haven't actually played the game and experienced the storyline behind it.
Yep, that's definitely true. She's a they are a very iconic creation that's unique to this game.
Yep, and I like how no one really talks about this, but this game is actually, you've got two enemy forces that are kind of trying to pull you their direction, because you've got the Mini, which is a creation of Shodan that's kind of gone awry, and then you've got Shodan itself.
How does that go again, Leathco? The needs of the few outweigh the many?
The needs of the many outweigh the few, or the one, if you're going with the Star Trek reference, but in this case,
wrong just to piss you off.
That's what I was wondering. Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, that is a really interesting thing about this game is kind of the whole process of your character, and because at first you don't really see what's going on or how it unfolds until you get to after the introduction. Because the introduction, it looks like, oh, this is going to be just like any other game of the time with it's just going to be like a shooter or whatever, but it has a lot of depth, and those early choices you make when building your character, super important.
Yep, and not only that, but just the fact that you're so limited as far as what upgrades you get. Like, the game gives you an upgrade system, and you think you can play it like a modern game with an upgrade system to where you can dump points wherever because you're going to be getting, points all the time. There are a limited amount of upgrades in this game, and you can screw yourself if you choose the wrong areas.
Yep, needless to say, if you decide to monkey around and really put them into things that don't matter, and you're not efficient via combat, you're not making it anywhere.
Yeah, like if you try specializing in something like psionics, but then you decide you want to go with more of a gun build, you should really just start your game over, because those points you got in psionics are just wasted.
Right. Now, if I remember correctly, Leathco, and stop me if I'm wrong, certain guns require a certain amount of skill in that area to use, right?
Yeah, I think so. I want to believe so. I don't experience that a whole lot, because usually I go in more of a heavier gun build than I do the hacking or psionics, although I do put some points into hacking because it's kind of required.
Yeah, of course it is. Super important aspect of it. I just really love how, this game was like Cyberpunk way before Cyberpunk. Like, I want to see what life is like on Earth in System Shock more so than I did in Cyberpunk. Like, it's a way more compelling narrative and story, in my opinion.
It's interesting with the whole company aspect of Trioptimum, where you have the events of the original game that supposedly almost put Trioptimum out of business, but then they managed to bounce back, and they're back in control in this game.
Yeah, which is kind of a funny thing, not to spoil the first one, but it's all about that hacker who was basically offered this deal in exchange for not getting thrown in the slammer for hacking into Trioptimum systems. He has to hack, the ship, and then he has to release the constraints on the AI, and that AI becomes Shodan. but then you also have no idea, but you're also being sent there too, which is kind of awful. And then, of course, the hacker destroys Shodan, and then whatever, and then she gets sent to this planet with her creations that she makes, and it just sets it up for like a whole other amazing story with such small exposition.
Yep, the story in this game is kind of drip-fed to you. If you played Bioshock, you kind of know the style that does it through. You'll find these logs of people who are been killed on the ship that you're on, and these logs more or less tell the story.
Yeah, that is a cool thing about this. Like, I can't think of too many games around the same time that would have had this same narrative expositions everywhere in the game via found or lost audio, right? And that's a huge thing. You rely on those to tell you what you need to do, but then you also find ones that are kind of secret or a little hidden, and they give you codes to open little caches of weapons in secret places or stuff like that,
It's stuff that you didn't see at the time. Like, you figure your other FPS games at the time, you're looking at stuff like Quake 2, Quake 3, Unreal, Half-Life. This game had a lot of unique things to it. I think the closest thing that I could come up with to this game might be Deus Ex from back then.
Well, yeah, perhaps.
So what,
but,
what do you think of the gameplay mechanic where you have to keep an eye on your weapons, otherwise they can fail on you?
It's a love-hate thing, man. It's one of those things to where, it's just a neat little realism mechanic that I feel like was implemented a little poorly and a little unrealistically, but you do find enough repair probes to fix your guns because they have states, right? I think state 1 is poor, state 2 is shabby, 3 is fine, 4 is good, and 5 is excellent, right?
Yeah, I want to say it's something along those lines. I got reminded again of Breath of the Wild weapons whenever I was replaying this game, because the weapons take so much damage with so little use.
Yeah, they did go, like I said, it was an interesting mechanic, but it was poorly implemented. But at the same time, it was a brave thing. I can't think of any other games at the time that had a similar mechanic.
Yep, it's so weird though, going in with a shotgun, then 20 shots in, it like misfires on you, and you're, what the fuck? It's like, I barely used it, what do you mean?
Yeah, better disassemble it, clean it again, private. We should touch on a little bit more on the beginning of the game, right? Because, like, you as a character have to have a reason to be there, right, on the Von Braun.
Mm-hmm.
And your character was a soldier that was getting prepped to be put on the ship, but you weren't given all these crazy cybernetic implants that you get. Somebody, while you were in cryostasis, took your body and gave you all these implants and stuff. And you find out who that is later on. I don't know if we're trying to do spoilers here, Leathco, but...
I don't think they'll matter a whole lot. One thing I do like is the character creation mode in this game, to where you actually start your military career by choosing which branch you go into, and then after that you get to choose your deployment for I want to say 2 or 3 years before you go to the Von Braun.
Right, and that's more or less what I was getting to, is some of those early choices that you make are very detrimental, because each deployment that you go on sets your character on a different path or gives them bonuses to a certain skill. And that's where you want to start laying the foundation of how your character is. But when you're first starting that game, you're going to have a very difficult time trying to figure that out. Because, you don't realize that, like, oh, it'll be fine, I just have, like, 5+ in this or whatever, but it's actually detrimental.
Mm-hmm. So, interestingly enough, as you're going through this ship, you don't find a lot of the staff that are still alive. Most of them have been taken over by the many. Which, think of the many as almost like the Borg from Star Trek, but maybe more zombified, more organic.
Yeah, I mean, I literally look at them as being like an organic version of the Borg, to where it's like you will be assimilated. Same thing, just different strokes for different annelids. You know what I mean? That's what they are scientifically called, because they're technically like worms,
Mm-hmm.
and they're a creation of Shodans. And it's just really interesting because this whole time, I want to say for like the first quarter of the game, you are thinking you're following somebody who's like a living person that's like, oh, come and help me. You know, we got to stop the AI on the ship that's being taken over by the many. We got to turn Xerxes off, right? Which you would think they would have learned their lesson with AI and like not putting it on their ships, but they do anyway.
I did find it interesting that there are some very, very minor clues about the doctor you're following, which is Polito, if I remember right.
Oh, what are those clues?
Just some of the things that she says, it's kind of like, huh, that's fishy.
Yeah, or just like,
Even the tone of her voice, the fact that this random doctor has survived on this ship whenever everyone else that you've ran into is either dead or they're going to be dead within a few moments of you finding them.
yep. And then, just like sometimes Shodan would let that mask slip, and then she would say things that she would say. It's not like she outright calls you an insect or anything, but she gets really pushy with what she's asking you to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's. I will say, this is one of those games where, again, if you don't pay attention, you will get lost easily. You will have no idea what the fuck it is you're supposed to do. The same thing with the first System Shock as well, because, there's infamously that one part where you can end the game early by going and firing the laser, and it ends the game.
Right.
So,
yeah, this one, I also think that even the tone that Polito uses with you just is very, I hesitate to use the word sarcastic, but maybe that's the closest word that I can come up with right now.
like the tone of the game is sarcastic?
No, the tone of her voice, specifically, whenever
yeah.
she's dealing with you.
Yep. And of course, that's how Shodan is, because she sits there and she'll call you hacker, or or she'll call you insect, stuff like that. Just like, hey, I'm a god, I'm above you.
Eventually, you do find the real Polito. What's left of her, and that's when Shodan does her reveal.
Yeah, and it's really cool. For back then, it is a beautiful cinematic.
Yeah, it was very, very well done. And then that puts you in the middle of this war where you've got the many trying to talk you into joining them, which, obviously that's a bad idea. And then you got Shodan more or less telling you, listen, you gotta do what I say, otherwise you're screwed. So you're looking for a way out from both of these.
But there is no way out. So you just gotta kind of play along and do what Shodan says. But the one thing that really has always stuck with me is how the many tries to get you to work with them, and they're like, they're trying to comfort you and being like, we know that you think that you're, forgot how they put it, but basically they're saying that, like, we know you're mourning for all the people that were on this ship, but you think they're gone, but they're not. They're with us. It's so creepy. It does not work. Like, it is not comforting at all.
Not to mention, every time you take out one of the former shipmates who've been taken over, a lot of times they'll get their sense of self right before they die. They'll, thank you for killing them, or they'll be yelling for you to kill them as they're swinging the wrench at you, stuff like that.
Yeah, they'll sit there and they'll be like, I'm sorry. And then sometimes they're fully integrated and they're like, we seek. We seek.
Mhm.
It's really, actually, really scary. This game is a good game to play with a nice stereo system on at night. Boy, turn it on, turn it up, and you will be fucking scared. You'll be like, oh my god, something made me itch. It's a worm crawling on my skin.
Yeah, this game is just the creep factor is through the roof on it, just because of how oppressive the atmosphere is. Like going back to Resident Evil, the mansion feels oppressive, and the Von Braun has that same thing. It's designed in a way to mess with your head.
Yep, and I feel like when you actually stop and look at the different enemies that you're fighting, it's even creepier. You know, because you have some of like the robots or whatever, but even they may manage to make them pretty creepy too. I'll let you explain that one, Leathco. But before we do that, I want to talk about my favorite enemy in the game, the cyborg midwives. The cyborg. Why'd you laugh there, Leathco? What I'm about to say isn't funny at all.
Go on, go. I know where you're going. Go on.
So, what's really messed up about the cyborg midwives? Basically, the doctors on the station, when anybody would get hurt or anything like that, they would take the women, you know, and they would be like, oh, yeah, we're gonna basically make you a cyborg now, and we're gonna program you to worry about these eggs. These alien eggs, and the women were not willing participants of it, and there's like several recordings that you find about it, and it is just god awful, and it leaves this dreadful feeling over yourself when you start to think about that weird body horror thing of like how insidious it is that this other organism's taking over this other organism to care for its young. It's so parasitic and disturbing.
Yeah, those things were wild. The robots are kind of tame compared to them, but the interesting thing about them is that they are controlled by another AI. This one's called Xerxes, and he is more or less on the side of the many. But Xerxes is kind of like a baby Shodan in a way. He don't have all of Shodan's capabilities. He's not as aware as Shodan is. But he does control the ship's security systems and everything. So you will have security cameras that you want to stay out of range of. You'll have turrets that can take you on. You've got these robots. Some of them are actually kamikaze robots who will try to just get close to you and then blow up.
Yeah, and they try and like call you over to them too. They'll be like, "Where are you, sir? I don't see you, sir."
Yeah.
There you go. And then they make all these crazy spazzing sounds and then walk up to you all jerkily and then blow you up. And they'll kill you quick.
Yeah, they can do some major damage as something exploding right beside you would. And then you've got the cyborg assassin kind of thing.
I love those guys.
Yeah, they make a little chittering noise whenever they come at you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the robots in this one are actually like they're fairly large in this game. Like if you played the System Shock 1, they don't have like the maneuverability of the first ones.
Hold on, Leathco, hold on. I know you're not getting past the fact that these cybernetic ninjas use shurikens and shit. You're not just gonna go past that, are you?
Well, we call them ninjas. I mean, obviously, if you're a ninja, you're going to be using some kind of a throwing star.
It's just so out of place. It's so out of place.
Oh, it's amazing, though.
Yeah, they're really cool looking. I mean, when you see them, you instantly are like, what the fudge is that, man? That is scary looking.
No, they did take away their the rifles that they had in System Shock 1.
That wasn't fair, dude.
Yeah, they were nasty.
Dude, they were beyond nasty. And, you know, that should have been right there. Been like, oh, yeah, you know, this game is like the first one. Because it is kind of the same concept where there's like a few of them that you need to hunt down because they were given certain things. I think you need the codes from them so you can stop the many from having their little spawn hatchery thing and destroy it, right?
And just finding those codes can be tricky in many cases. Like
Oh
even,
yeah, they roam.
Yeah, you do have to hunt them down. I remember there was one session I was playing in. I spent easily a week hunting for a code just because this thing had started moving around and I couldn't find it, which is
Yep.
kind of an issue whenever you have to dodge security cameras. They'll send mobs after you.
Yeah, dude, I would get a wrench and I would jump up and I would hit the cameras till they broke. I ain't wasting no ammo.
So, what did you think of the? We talked about the twist, the Polito being Shodan. What did you think of Bioshock kind of copying that?
Oh well, if you don't know, Bioshock is the successor of System Shock, hence the shock at the end of it. I mean, even the healing implements are the same, like the health hypo and the psi hypo that you get are kind of the same things that you get in System Shock. I'm pretty sure it was made by a bunch of the same people in from that studio in a different studio. So
Yeah, I was kind of bummed the first time I played Bioshock and realized that a bunch of the story got ripped from System Shock 2, even though it doesn't look like at first, Bioshock being underwater and System Shock 2 being on, well, a couple of spaceships. But a lot of the story elements are like ripped straight out. And one of the huge ones for me is the person that you're following ends up not being who you think it is.
yeah, you got a point there, man. That is the truth. When it really comes down to it, that game does have some very good plot twists in it. And even come to find out that, like, the many themselves are a creation by Shodan, and she's just mad that they won't capitulate to her demands. And then they're like, our mom sucks. Please don't kill us.
One thing that I thought was also kind of interesting, we talked about the Polito character a little bit. It's kind of funny how her voice is stable, whereas whenever you run into Shodan, Shodan's voice is very unstable.
Well, she's a robot.
It's like, how'd she do so well in Polito?
She's an AI, dude. She just copied her voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, come on. They predicted that stuff 30 years ago almost. Come on, man.
So,
But
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, when it really comes down to it, and you have all those characters in there, and there's like all these audio. I mean, there is a lot of audio logs in that game. They really, really build on the fear and tension in that game. And, you know, you hear some recordings and you're just like, God damn, that's fucking sad, or that was fucking savage or crazy. Like, you know, it really succeeds in making you feel things.
Yep, that's another thing that Bioshock ripped off was the audio logs.
Yeah, ripped it off, huh? Can't be a spiritual successor, it's a spiritual vampire.
Oh, yeah, I was like kind of bummed by that fact, but it is what it is. But the audio logs in this game are really your main way of discovering what happened on this ship before you woke up.
Yep, because pretty much you just get woken up and then you're told, like, hey, yeah, people are fighting to take the ship, bad things are happening, you need to get out of there now before it depressurizes. And you're like, you don't even have time to wipe the frost off your eyelashes.
Although I love the fact that intro sequence where they're telling you, get out of there before it depressurizes, it gives you the idea that you're on a timer. You're not.
No, you could sit there swinging that wrench all day.
Yep.
Just a man in his wrench cranking it. You know, but I will say, out of all the games I've ever played that were like the early 2000s and like late 90s games, You know, even though it has that janky feeling of being one of the first 3D video games, it still is such a well blended amount of action in RPG and shooter that it is just it ticks all the boxes of enjoyment. You know, let's say you don't like using guns. Guess what? You can sit there and get all steroided up and go swing, a laser rapier at one of those guys and kill him, or one of those exotic crystal weapons that are made from the annelids, or the wrench, or there's different builds you can go with, and it just adds so much depth and flavor to that game, and then just the sheer atmosphere and desolation of how that ship feels, it gets to you. And you get scared when you hear something like the rumbler behind you, and you're like, ah!
Well, that's something that did draw me to the game back then, was the fact that it had all those RPG elements, but was still like a action first-person shooter game. It really made me want to purchase it.
Yeah, someone would say it's my Final Fantasy.
It's nowhere near Final Fantasy. The RPG elements aren't that heavy. It's more like you can customize how your character is built to either your advantage or disadvantage.
Right.
So
right.
did you come across the ship survivors?
Oh yeah, plenty.
Okay, I was going to say
Except
there are two. No, there's two that get away.
There's one that gets away.
I thought there was two. Tommy and Rebecca, wasn't it?
Yeah, but something's wrong with Rebecca.
See, it's been too long since I got to this part. Okay.
Yeah, don't you remember? Rebecca, for some reason, they don't I see, this is why I'm so mad. Me and him were talking off air about System Shock 3 never coming out, and it bugs me deeply. It hurts my feelings every day. I'd give my left nut if that game were to come out.
Oh, wait. Okay. Never mind. The very, very end of the game. Alright.
Right.
So it took me a minute, but yeah. There is a chance that Shodan has somehow escaped again, or copied herself, I guess would be.
Right, and it happens in the most insidious way, too, revealing that Shodan's coming back to the Von Braun after they were just defeated by you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's such a crazy thing, the whole thing. I absolutely love that twist to the story. But then it begs the question of how she gets to Earth in System Shock 3 that's never going to come out.
I hope it does eventually come out.
Leathco, I'm not kidding, man. I'll give my left nut.
I mean, I enjoyed BioShock, don't get me wrong, but I would greatly prefer a return back to this style.
Yeah, because I just feel like it... Don't get me wrong. I like BioShock, but I just don't like the whole 40s aesthetic. I don't dig it. I don't care that much for it, okay? It's cool. It had its place. But there's just something about the sheer desolation and weird body horror that's involved with System Shock that you are just like freaked out, man. Like, I'm telling you, the things that the many do, and like the sheer desperation of the people's voices in the recording, and seeing the ghosts as well. We forgot about the ghosts.
Oh yeah, we did. That's never really explained though how you are seeing them, is it?
Technically, they say it's a glitch. They say it's a glitch caused by your ocular implants.
I don't know if I follow that. That's so weird though. But occasionally you'll see like a spectral kind of image of a person on the ship just reliving a moment. You've got one moment where a guy's like locked in an area and they've forgotten their security key card. and they're begging, please let me out.
Or the one to where the doctors are sedating that woman and taking her apart to be a cyborg midwife.
Mm-hmm.
That part was legitimately horrifying, and you're like, "Ugh, god damn, these aliens are scum."
It was such a cool idea, though, for a villain being the Mini. Just
Right.
let's take the Borg from Star Trek, but let's rip all of the electronic pieces out of them. We're gonna keep the whole hive mind thing, but make them completely organic.
Yep. And that I feel like is just way grosser. Like, I mean, even if you think about something like Tyranids from Warhammer, for example, even they have like their differences and stuff like that. But you get to something like that, and you're just like, man, that is horrifying. What the hell is this? And then just the way that they tricked everybody into incubating them and propagating them, it's horrifying.
Especially whenever you end up on the second ship of the game. I think it was like the Rickenbacker?
Yep, the Rickenbacker.
Where it's been more or less taken over by the Mini, and it is pretty well completely organic on the inside.
Yep, it is pretty... Well, no. That's the tube that's connecting the two ships.
Oh, yeah.
Because you disable the one ship, and then you're like, oh, shit, I still need to get out of here, because they're trying to make it back to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't let that happen. So Shodan's like, yeah, they're connecting this ship to the other ship, and that one's got a working warp drive. So you need to get to that one, and you need to disconnect them, but to disconnect them, you need to cut their heart. And that's how that goes about. And then you literally spend a good amount of time going through some of the grossest viscera and like body parts and grossness.
But colonoscopy camera looks sick.
Yep, same thing, man. That was well put.
It does lead up to you eventually having that fight with Shodan at the very end, which is kind of funny because most of the game you're actually aligned with Shodan.
Yeah, but in true Shodan fashion, she's like, yeah, nah, rules for thee, not for me.
Pretty well. That is a tricky final boss fight with her.
It is. If I've recommended 1,000% after you bother to descend down there, save your fucking game, or you will be so mad at yourself.
Yeah, it's a tricky fight. You're probably not going to get through it the first time.
Nope, I didn't, and I admit that.
I didn't get through it the second time,
save.
the third time, the fourth time.
Yeah, it takes a couple tries to get the pattern down, but once you do, you're able to beat her. It's not impossible, but it is if you don't have enough stuff. If you're not careful with your inventory in this game, too, you can definitely soft lock yourself, like Leathco was saying before we were on.
Now, the one big difference I will claim between this game and BioShock is that BioShock, in my opinion, is not a difficult game. Like, you can breeze through it, whereas this game, there is no breezing. This game is very, very difficult, especially if you build your character out wrong.
Yep, you are definitely going to be saving after every fight, because you have no idea what's around the corner.
And if you are saving after every fight, be sure to make multiple save files, because I put myself in a horrible position whenever I first had this game in the 90s, where I was continually saving, but I only had one save file. And I put myself in a place where I had saved with very, very low health right before a pretty major fight, and I couldn't get out of it.
Yep, you gotta save space on that 8 megs, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean, heck, back then this computer, it probably only had like a 4 gig hard drive.
Exactly my point. You know, and that is a super important thing. Honestly, I can't recommend that enough. I mean, really, you got to pay attention to saving for sure, because you could sit there and make it through a good like hour of the game. You don't save, it's gone.
Yeah, or if you just aren't paying enough attention and you get killed, you rage quit. Well, you're starting back over.
Oh yeah, and we forgot about the cradles as well.
The life support things where you gotta
Yeah.
scan your hand in. Yeah, more or less, there is kind of a come back from the dead function in each part of, well, not in each part, but in certain parts of the ship, where you have to scan your DNA in, and if you die, your body will get rebuilt at that point. And the game does make it out to be pretty brutal, where it's like, listen, it's preferable to dying, but it kind of sucks.
Yep, because there's some parts where you have to, because I think they do it floor by floor. So if you are on another floor and you die without enabling that cradle on that floor, you're done. It's game over.
And then, even if you do activate it, it rebuilds you. I think you're at like a quarter health.
Yeah. Doesn't give you full health, as awesome as that would be.
That would be a huge help. Especially when your inventory could be really limited.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the whole crux of this game, though, is it's really a gem of a bygone era. Like, It is great at survival horror. It definitely is. Ticks all the boxes. Stops short of the tank controls for, like, septic tank controls, but damn is it good.
That's another area where I think the game kind of misleads you, too, with the inventory system, because there is a shop system in the game to where you think, oh, I can just buy whatever I need. You can buy up 1 million health packs, but then you realize that even the currency in the game you have to use is so limited to where you have to be very, very picky with what you buy.
Do they have don't they have the system in this one where you can recycle stuff as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we say that, but I promise you, getting enough money to buy all the upgrades for all the guns that you want them for, you are going to have to put in hours of work, of taking materials and bringing them back to these recycling places and getting next to nothing for them over and over and over and over again.
Like we were talking off air, I always think it's best to specialize. Pick a couple guns that you like and stick with them. Like for me, I use the pistol and the shotgun a lot.
Yeah, and then there's different rounds of ammunition as well that are more powerful. I think for the handgun, there's like anti-personnel rounds and then Teflon rounds, right?
Yeah, there's, I want to say 2 or 3, because you got your standard rounds, you've got a type that works best against like organics, and you got another one that does really well against like the security droids and the electronic stuff.
Yep. And then they do that with the shotgun too. I think they go between slug and buckshot.
Oh, we should also bring up that the while we're talking about the inventory system, this game does use like a Resident Evil style of inventory to where you've got a grid and you can only carry so much based off what this grid is.
Yeah, unless you have Leon Kennedy's magical suitcase that he carries around with all his gigantic suitcase.
I never seem to find that in this game.
Me neither. I wish I could. So yeah, I mean, even as much as you would like to specialize in all the weapons and everything, there's a lot of different weapons in this game. You know, there's like a wrench, there's a laser rapier, there's a crystalline weapon, there's a pistol, a shotgun, grenade launcher, and then there's some weird annelid weapons that I don't know what they are, man. They just do
Yeah,
things.
the worm guns.
Yeah, but it's just one category. You have worm guns. You guys get your worm guns.
Yeah, those were weird, but I mostly stuck again pistol, shotgun. A lot of that's because a lot of the ammo that you come across in the early game usually will work in one of those two. And that's kind of why I just stuck with them. They are early game weapons, but because of that, they'll be the first weapons that you're upgrading. And I just kind of stuck with them through the whole game.
Right. You know, and they're the ones you're gonna mainly find ammunition for too, because there is that cool annelid worm gun thing that you need a cup full of worms to use, and
Yeah,
that thing's pretty cool, but it's only good against annelids.
and just being able to find the ammo for the gun can be kind of tricky to say the least.
Yeah, you can just go into places like the bathroom and scoop up a cup full of worms.
So before we start getting ready to close out, what was your favorite moment from the game?
I think my favorite moment was the introduction of the menu. 1,000%. When you're just walking through that corridor and you see Xerxes' face looking all crazy, and then everything just glitches out, and then you're like being force scrolled through this whole area that's just made of like alien tissue and weird viscera with rumblers walking around. It's horrifying.
So my favorite would probably be the psionic monkeys.
Please explain.
So there is an enemy type in this game, and it's just a little monkey. He's a cute little monkey, and of course, monkeys were used a lot for experimentation in the early space era. But in this game, they've manipulated the monkeys to where they can use psychic attacks on you.
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh, look, cute monkey, and then you'll have like a blue blast come from it, and you're like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah, and their noises are legitimately scary because they are loud and crystal clear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's literally just like monkey yells, monkey screams, all of it, and it's horrifying. You'll just be walking in a hallway and you'll just hear it. You're like, ah!
I mean, the game eventually builds it to where they will scare you, but like they are so funny the first time you come across one. You're like, what the hell is that?
Yep, you're just like, oh, it's a cute little monkey, dude. You must have seen some horrible. Oh my god! And then those audio logs you get to where like the researchers are starting to realize that the monkeys are way smarter than they're letting on, and they're starting to break out and cause havoc and killing people.
Oh, that's so good. But yeah, if you haven't played System Shock 2 yet, it is available either on Steam or GOG. I think Steam is getting ready to pull the original to where only the remake will be available, but the original, I think, is staying up on GOG.
Oh, important caveat to that, Mr. Leathco. They are indeed pulling the original for sale by itself, but I believe it will be bundled with the remake as well.
Okay, good deal, because like the original, I think it's worth going back to. The remake looks wonderful, and it's more or less the original with a bunch of mods added onto it to modernize it. But I think the original is still worth playing, especially if you want to mod the game yourself after you've done a couple runs.
Oh yeah, I mean honestly, I feel like this game is right at that pivotal point to where we could really start to see what 3D games were capable of, and I can't recommend it enough. Honestly, you'd figure for a game back then it would be really short, whatever. Now this game is hours long. Hours. Like probably at least 4 or 5 hours.
The other thing I would recommend, the remake is available on console. However, I feel like this type of game is best to be played on PC using a keyboard and mouse rather than a controller.
Oh yeah, I haven't even stopped to think about the implications that would have.
Yeah,
Oh
like it's
man.
available on console, but like you and I are used to playing it with mouse and keyboard. But a lot of the new people who are just now discovering it thanks to the remaster, like they're seeing it on Xbox and PlayStation, and I'm sure it's playable, but man, mouse and keyboard's the way to go with this game.
Yeah, I could second that. I mean, I know it's a tough learning curve if that's all that you know is, hand controllers and everything like that, but I'm telling you, keyboard and mouse is the way to go. It's the way of the future. All these gaming companies are fucking up with their releases and being really greedy, and let's just hope Gabe Newell lives forever.
Right? The the entire hope of the PC gaming industry relies on a 72-year-old obese old man.
Sadly.
And if that don't horrify you as much as System Shock 2 did, I don't know what will. Well, with that, I think we're going to close this episode out. We'll play some more music from the game before we start rolling the outro. Before I do, though, Grim, is there anything that you want to plug?
Nothing. Just keep your eye out. Within, I think, the next week or two, we'll have the next episode of Grimglow out. I know I've been slacking on it really hard, but just got through midterms. College is terrible.
Yeah, I don't
Calling
think you
it.
can call it slacking whenever you've been dealing with college work.
Yeah, I mean, literally, they should have just called this history class essay writing class instead. But I digress.
Yep, and we do have more episodes of Grimglow planned up to. I think the third episode we've already got set up to where we're getting ready to record it here in maybe a month or two, and then we've got the hardware purchased for at least another couple episodes before we gotta start making our eBay rounds again.
Yeah, that's true enough. Me and you just use this as an excuse to be man children and talk about things that we used to like.
Dude, I have a tote of stuff now that's just like Grimglow stuff.
I have a whole table with all this stuff on it. I know exactly what you mean.
Like, giving away some clues for future episodes. Like, I've got the tote here in the closet right now. I've got the little music player. I've got the VTech in here, the Tamagotchis, the Simon. There's a few handheld games, a few from Tiger, one from Konami. There's the Pox game. So we've got some interesting stuff coming up.
You won't want to miss it.
And all right, on that note, we're going to close this episode out with some more music from System Shock 2 before we roll our outro.
As always, thank you for listening to another episode of Afterglow and the conclusion of Spook-Tober 2025. Nope, I couldn't find a way to turn it into Spook-Tober this year, but by God, I found a sci-fi game that's also a horror game that I could cover, so maybe that counts, right? Even though Spock's not in it. Anyway, if you're looking for more podcast goodness, be sure to check out the show notes where there is a link tree. In that link tree, you will find links to all sorts of places to listen to Afterglow if you wish to listen on a more convenient platform for you. There's also a link to the Discord if you'd like to drop in and chat with the rest of the listeners. We're slowly growing. We usually get a new member in there every month or two, and like I said, I'm very, very happy to see the Discord growing. As a matter of fact, our guest from last month, Sean, found us and joined the Discord, and then a couple weeks later we had him on an episode. So if you want to be a guest, that's the easiest way to be a guest too, is to jump in on that Discord. You can also listen to friends of the show, like Grimglow, Bad Secret Media, Retro Gaming Roundup, Retro Hangover, the Lost and Gone podcast, the Main Quest podcast, the Reviews Brothers, the Superpod Network, and Electronic Emotions program. And you will find links to all of them in the link tree. If you're wanting to go to the Patreon and throw $1 a month at me, you will also get a shout out towards the beginning of every episode, like the couple members that you heard earlier. Not required, of course. The show will always be completely free to listen to. And then finally, if you'd like to buy some Afterglow merch for some bizarre reason, maybe you want to sport an Afterglow t-shirt, you want to throw an Afterglow magnet or a sticker on your vehicle, hey, it's there if you want to do it. As always, special shout out goes to Grim from Lost and Gone, as well as Grimglow, for doing our outro and intro music. And, of course, for being our guest this episode. And Toby from Secret Levels for doing the show logo. And finally, we're going to run some commercials for some other great, fun gaming shows that you should probably check out.
Hey, this is Toby, one half of the Secret Levels podcast. We're a podcast that goes over old retro games. We go over the history, the story, the gameplay, some fun facts. We even rage a little bit. And then we go and give it a nice 1 to 10 rating to let you know if it's still worth playing. We have over 200 reviews for games on the NES, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and many other consoles. You can find us on all the major podcasting apps, such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and you can follow us on social media at Secret Levels Pod. Game over, folks.
For more than 15 years, Retro Gaming Roundup has been the centre of your retro gaming universe, with top 10s, interviews, game reviews, news, and much more from all over the globe. Be sure to tune in every month for a new dose of Retro Gaming Roundup. That's RetroGamingRoundup.com.
Hello and welcome to the Reviews Brothers. It's me, Martin, and you can join me on YouTube where I have hundreds of videos covering a huge range of video game topics. I've got top 10s, hidden gems, console-focused A to Zs, as well as dedicated videos to topics like Doom mods, 3D platform games, ninja games, pirate games, and more. I cover all systems from Commodore 64 right up to modern consoles. Nothing gaming is off the table. So be sure to search for the Reviews Brothers on YouTube, as well as on Instagram and TikTok for hundreds of retro and modern video game reviews.
Afterglow listeners, it's me, Keith Gasper, coming at you from the #1 retro gaming podcast, the Main Quest podcast. Come hang out as a guest and I play and discuss a game from the backlog of my childhood. We're talking about our history and the history of the game, and if it's worth checking out today. We're talking about games from the NES, the Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx, Game Boy, and much more. And that's just on the main feed. If you enjoy what you're hearing on Afterglow, you're going to enjoy the main quest. And I'm happy to have you. Find the main quest on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Spotify, and wherever great podcasts are downloaded.
Hello, my name is Aaron. I'm one half of Super Pod Saga, a topical variety video game podcast fueled entirely by nostalgia and unleaded gasoline. Super Pod Saga, we discuss a different video game topic each and every week. We have new episodes every single Monday covering a different video game topic. More than anything, we want to entertain our listeners and make you feel like you're one of the boys, like you're hanging out at a campfire with some of your best zany, caffeine-powered buddies and just talking about your favorite games and all that stuff. Stop on down to Super Pod Saga. It's on every podcatcher there is. If it's not, let me know and we'll get on it. Again, Super Pod Saga, stop on by.